Garrick season is here. So whether you are planning on throwing spoons, plugs, or live baits, you are in for a treat.
The fishing has been quite tremendous. There's been a whole lot. Bottom fishing has been totally off its hook.
Because the non-nets are still here. There's just so many grays in the water.
There you go, buddy. Hit it now!
This is the Angler News SA podcast. I'm Vanessa Green.
Hello anglers, welcome back to another episode where we thought we weren't going to get fish, but oh man, it is KZN, it is the East Coast, and yes, we've had some big seas, but it has been Garrick all week long. We've had Garrick off Durban, Garrick down south, Garrick offshore, and even Garrick off the north coast. Yes, we are even talking about the first Garrick out of Tugela. Guys, Garrick season is here. So whether you are planning on throwing spoons, plugs, or live baits, you are in for a treat. So that's the start of our show. What about the rest of it? Well, here's what's coming up. We are talking kuta, we are talking snook, we are talking a good couple dorado. There is also a lot of great bottom fishing going on. The shad are on the bite, as well as a variety of other species, which include the cob. And of course, the stillwater is firing on all fronts. So we are going to get into it. Our reporters are ready. They are poised. They are positive to bring you this week's latest fishing news. So without further ado, let's get into it. But before we do, guys, huge shout out to our sponsors, the King.
Meet the all-new Crossfire LT, redesigned to transform every cast into a moment worth remembering. With advanced air drive design, feel ultra-smooth, effortless rotation that is light, clean, and incredibly responsive. At its core, tough digigear delivers lasting durability and consistent power, cast after cast. The LC ABS spool boosts your casting distance while reducing line trouble, giving you total control on the water. And when the pressure's on, the ATD type L-drag system keeps things smooth, steady, and in your hands, lightweight, strong, and reliable. The Crossfire LT available in sizes 1000, 2000, 3000C, and 4000C. Fish smarter, fish smoother, fish Crossfire LT. Available at tackle stores nationwide.
Thank you, the Kingfisher. Guys, this show could not be possible without our sponsors, the Kingfisher, so big up to them for bringing us the latest news in KZN. Speaking of which, let's get right into it. Let's kick it off in my hometown with Mike V and Brad Krobler.
How's it, guys? The couple days leading up to the weekend was lovely for the beaches. I was got some lovely grunters, stumpies, fishing with the baits. Otherwise, Oaks put in live baits, got some lovely cob in the dark. They got Garrick in the day, some big shad in the mix. Spinners and grey sharks troubling the guys fishing for the edibles, but they are out. There's still one or two good ones swimming around there, so the guys that are going to go try for those bigger greys, go for it. When the weekend came, it did get a bit upside down, so the guys went and scratched for bronze bream and rockcod and the smaller cob and things like that. They did very well, far south and far north between the reefs. On the paddle ski and ski boat side, the guys did very well with some kuta in the week. There was quite a lot of snook in the week. The weekend did get upside down, not too many boats did launch. But the guys that did get some lovely fish, keelback, doggers, rockcod, all those sort of bottom fish as well, the guys are doing very well with it. Durban Bay, quite a bit of grunter around. Oaks are saying some very nice snapper salmon, some small cob in the bay, and quite a few fish on the ultralight drop shot. So something to look forward to for the bay. The grunters, no giant ones, from what I've heard yet, but all that just size, making like 2 kilos, 2.5 kilo size. The snapper salmon, all smallish, and the cob just touching size. So guys, just remember that. Just watch your size limits. Guys, thank you very much. This is Mike V for ANSA News.
Oh, good day, guys. Brad here from the Ski Fishing Charters. The ski boat report for the Durban area. Over the last week, the fishing has been quite tremendous. There's been a whole lot. Bottom fishing has been totally off its hook. Lots of keelback, half cobs, some good snappers, generally good fishing all around on the bottom side on the reefs. On the game fish side, yeah, guys, snook and kuta again all over the place. Some very nice ones coming up on the far north side. The water temperature is starting to drop a little bit, so hopefully we'll soon see those little shiny fish. This is Brad for AN News South Africa, and guys, all next week.
What a great start to the show. So many varieties of species coming out, all that edible action, and the bay is firing. I'm glad to see you cleaned up from all that brown water. Looking good, looking good. Lots of small fish, like Mike was saying. Trust me, I know with that big seas out there, that's where I was fishing this weekend, but it was absolute fun. And like I was saying on the socials, guys, that's the beauty of KZN. You head out in the morning, you catch the sunrise, the surf is too big to put out a bait, just swing down to the harbor, swing down to a river mouth. There is always something to catch. And as for that offshore side, between the bottoms or the pelagics, I don't know what's going on. All I know is it is terrific, exactly like what Brad was saying. So that is Durban. Now let's move on just slightly out of Durban, moving up on the north coast. We are with the lady that has her ears on the ground and all the latest fishing news. Here is a great detailed report of everything happening up on the north coast from Michaela Daniels.
What's up, everyone? This is Michaela from Durban reporting for Angler News SA. It's been another wild week of fishing along our coastline, and kicking things off, we're at Blue Lagoon, where the Garrick is still on the bite, while there's also been some nice sized half cobs and grunter coming out of the bricks too. For the guys at Beachwood, there's still a few grunter around, but it's mainly still been rays coming out. While moving up to Virginia, the Shad is still coming out in the early mornings and late afternoons, while the Garrick is slowly making an appearance. For our Mplanga anglers, there's been quite a few netables coming out with the odd Shad in between, but for Mfloti, however, there's been quite a few rockcod coming out at night, while the day's been producing a few Shad and the usual scratching species. For the offshore side of things, Durban saw a lot of snook come out over the past week, as well as the odd Kuta and Garrick, while for the bottom side of things, the Geelbeck have quietened down, but there are still some lovely darger coming out amongst the usual reds and rockcods. For Mfloti, however, there's still been some nice Kuta and snook coming out, while the deep is still producing the odd tuna, and the guys are getting into some lovely darger and rockcod and the odd amberjack on the bottoms. Moving right up the coast to below, the Shad is still coming out with the odd shark in between, while the Garrick is also starting to make an appearance. For St. Lucia, it's still producing big GT, Shad, and a few big cob. While for the offshore side of things, Belito is still firing with snook and big kuta, while St. Lucia is still producing yellowfin tuna, snook, and kuta. That's going to be it for me for this week, guys. Tight lines and have a great one.
Thank you, Michaela. Once again, absolutely amazing content. And oh man, I love all those species that are coming out of the North Coast. Michaela, you certainly have your ears on the ground by getting us every area where the fish are coming out. So that's our North Coast report. By the way, while we are up on the North Coast, just remember it is the Richards Bay Mere and Sea 21 species competition. That's about 3 weeks away. Make sure to go and get those bookings in and get those kids involved. It's going to be school holidays. It's going to be a brilliant time to get them out there and fishing. All right, so that's the North Coast. But here's some other great news out of the North Coast. We are with my man Richard, who's talking about the first Garrick that's come out. And more than that, that big waves that came through this past week, what it has done to the structure. Is it good? Is it bad? Let's hear it from Richard.
Greetings from Labotta Ski Boat Club at Tugela Mouth. This week's major highlight has been a 13 kg Garrick caught early Saturday morning on a bounced out non-return rig live mullet, and that is the first Garrick of the season at Tugela Mouth. Shad, cob, snapper, stubbies and the odd salmon continue to be landed, mostly caught on a cocktail of sardine and chocker. The past week's full moon and neap spring tides has again changed the layout of the mouth, which now is very north bank side, almost closed, and has many spit sandbars and formed tidal lagoons. Brilliant guys for fishing, so come to Tugela Mouth.
Thank you, Richard. Another fabulous report out of Tugela Mouth. Oh, guys, I was just talking to Richard earlier and I was telling him, one, it's really great having him on the show to keep us updated with what's going on there. But apart from that, guys, that Tugela area is going to be firing. Thank goodness there's a public holiday coming up. I'm really thinking that could be the place to be. Like you said, come on over to Tugela. I think that's exactly where we're going to head to. However, if we want to try our hand on that freshwater side, Jan has a report of what's been going on with all that still water action, and it turns out that winter bite has settled in. But what has it done to the fish?
Hey there, guys. So, as reported last week, the recent weather system provided some good snow on top of the Berg and Lesotho and gave the Midlands its first real taste of winter this season. But, however, the snowfall wasn't quite as extensive as initially predicted, and or perhaps hoped for, and didn't extend much below the top of Sani Pass. There was some light rain across the Midlands that resulted from the system, and mostly in single figures, but just enough to dampen down the dry winter dust. The current forecast shows a split in the spot more on its way, which will result in some more snow up top and another dip in temperature across the Midlands. And for those guys that don't like the cold, as they say, brace yourself, Sheila. With the trout streams and rivers in close season, all eyes are on the still waters. While the higher altitude waters have benefited from the chill so far, and water temperatures are sitting around about 10 degrees centigrade, this following chill should assist in pushing water temperatures down for some of the lower level waters, where water temps are currently sitting between 12 and 14. In the colder waters, fish are exhibiting spawning behavior and cruising in the shallows, while the lower waters are not quite there just yet. What this means or suggests is that higher up in variation, tactics are required depending on where one is fishing. For the colder waters up high, brighter colors are starting to work, for example, white zone, whereas in some of the lower waters, more natural patterns are still doing the business, woolly bugger, dragon, damsel, and minnow patterns, and along with some trailing nymph patterns. The Natal Fly Fishers Club waters have chalked up a good number of fish over the past week, with sizes ranging from the 10-inch or 25 centimeter mark right the way through to some 20 inches or 50 centimeters plus. It's great to see that there are 3 generations of fish that are pushing through, a great result for the NFFC stocking. After the unfortunate cancellation of this year's Camberg Trout Festival last weekend, the next 2 weekends in the winter trout calendar are taken up by leg 2 of the Tops Corporate Challenge, which is this coming weekend, and the Boston Fly Fishing Festival the following weekend. And we look forward to reporting on these events, especially the Boston, since yours truly will be sampling those waters. While the water quality debate surrounding Albert Falls Dam continues, there's still no word from the bass anglers or any of the other freshwater anglers for that matter from either Albert Falls or Midmar. So guys, anybody else out there listening that are catching fish from the other spectrum of freshwater, please show up and tell. Guys, do stop in the Kingfisher Maritzburg for the best in tackle advice. This is Jan Karabal reporting for Kingfisher and for Angler News South Africa.
Brace yourself, Sheila. Jan, where do you come up with this stuff? Oh, man, you're an absolute legend. Thank you for that report. I mean, fishing is one thing. Just hearing you and your analogies, oh, brilliant stuff, Jan. Absolutely what makes us excited as fishermen. And, hey, by the way, all the best when you are fishing the Boston this week. Yeah, I'm certain you're going to come back with some great results. And what in the world is going on with that bass? I would love to know myself. Guys, like Jan was saying, if you know where that bass is coming out, please let us know. We just as eager as you. That seems to be that elusive fish right now. All right, so that's our freshwater report. Now let's head on back down to the coast. Let's kick it off in the South Coast. Well, the mid-South Coast anyway. And we are doing it with Ray Thompson.
Yes, we had some big seas this weekend. However, there were still quite a few rockfish to be caught and shad down at Winkel. Guys, those of you that fished for your lanterns, your eeltail barbel in that big sea, definitely got quite a few fish. Unfortunately, with the big sea, grey sharks or inedibles were very hard to come by. Hopefully this weekend coming, we'll get a lot more fish with better conditions. Guys, go out there and have a lot of fun.
Thank you, Ray. Yeah, fishing those big seas was challenging. My great tip on fishing the reefs. The guys were certainly rewarded, and I'm glad to know that the fishing is looking absolutely fantastic for this weekend. Oh, yeah, I know exactly where I'm going to be heading. Hey, by the way, I would love to know where you guys are fishing as well, so please let us know on the comments. Now, that is our mid-South Coast. Now, let's head on down to the lower South Coast with our South Coast guru, Adam Lyon.
Hey, Banesh, I hope you're doing well, my friend, and everyone out there has had an awesome week so far. So, yes, things are definitely starting to turn up, as we know, because of the sardines. Now, we don't know exactly where they are, and everybody keeps asking, where are the sards, where are the sards? Well, they're in the ocean. We just don't know exactly where at this stage. Now, in terms of the rock and surf fishing, things have been sort of a hit and a miss, and I don't know if it's because of the water temp. It's been a bit warm. We should be getting loads of game fish, but we are definitely getting rockcod. They are around, Vinesh. We cannot deny that fact. The shad are here as well. On some days and some days they're not. But the days that the shad are biting, the guys have been getting thunder sizes. On top of all that, it's lovely to see the Garrick popping up because the guys have been getting on spinning setups and on bait. There's also been a few cob around and some decent sizes as well. A handful of smaller kingings, but we are all waiting for that elusive $1 million shot, which is the sardines. Now, we don't know when they're going to arrive. We don't know when they'll land. We just have to keep waiting. But I know that when they come, so will the action, because the non-heads are still here. There's just so many greys in the water. It's like they've almost replaced the shad down on the south coast, Vinesh. I mean, we used to be able to go and get shad or bream at sort of any stage during the day, no matter if it's high or low. But at this stage, the only thing we are getting literally every single time you put a bait out is. But look, a pull is a pull. And at this stage, as we're all anticipating the sardines arriving, it's definitely getting the garted. Otherwise, I hope everyone has an awesome week. Stay safe, tight lines, and let's see those catches.
Adam, you beauty, always the Mr. Positive. And hey, with all that Garrick that's coming out, why would you not be? So guys, it is Garrick season. It is winter season. The Shad are out there. The coots are still around. The bottom fishing is absolutely firing. The still water is epic right now. All that's left for us to do is head out there and fish. Hopefully you took Monday as a holiday, so you got like 4 days of fishing coming up. Extended long weekend. It is going to be brilliant. Like I said earlier, please let me know where you are fishing. I'm going to be heading probably south. I might be heading up to north on the public holiday. Whatever it is, we are getting out there. There's so much of fish on the bite. There's no way we are not going to be wetting a line. With that being said, until the next one.
This is the Angler News SA podcast. I'm Vanessa Green. Find more episodes at ecr.co.za under podcasts or your favorite podcast app. Let's fish for the future.